program is intended for mature audiences.
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
Take him to Detroit.
No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything but that! No!
It's yet another in a long series of diversions in an attempt to avoid responsibility.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
The question isn't what are we going to do, the question is what aren't we going to do?
Ludicrous speed! Go!
Once again, we are live from the Russell Industrial Center here in Midtown Detroit, Michigan. It is the IT and the D Show, presented to you by DetroitNet.org. With special guest stars, we got Scott Stabelico, Jeff Haas in studio. Without further ado, Bob the Sales Guy, Dave the Geek, and Jeff, the Voice of Reason. Gentlemen.
Hello. Doctor. I'm glad I'm not sick.
And Doctor.
And there we go. 4 seconds of dead air already. Wake up, Dave. Somebody slap him. Somebody slap him.
And the beginning.
I don't know what that was doing. Sorry.
You cut off the Autobots?
I totally did. I don't know what I was thinking.
If it was GoBots, it would be fighting time, but we'll let that one slide. So this is the IT and the D Show, presented on Raw Radio X, presented by DetroitNet.org. Again, this is Bob the Sales Guy. This is episode 6. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. And I just watched that the other day, by the way. If you want to get on the air, you can call us anytime, 313-462-0107. You can get us at Twitter at IT and the D.
You know what I just remembered?
What?
We have that handy-dandy e-voice number that I should probably redirect over here for our shows.
And by the way, Dave, did you
right.
ever figure out actually how to answer the phone if somebody wanted to call in?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we actually get a phone call, I'm good. We can talk to you.
It's not just going to ring.
Just
and
understand
ring
that
and
I am the
ring.
one. Yeah, ringing and ringing. But understand that I am in control of the phone line. So if something goes sideways and we don't like you, El Clico.
So like we said, we got 2 special guests in the studio, old friends of ours from the DetroitNet days. Scott Stabelico.
Hello.
What are you, the Director of Business Development, Sales, Account Management, Services?
You know, I feel like I need to throw a disclaimer out here before we even get started. Bob has apparently left us, and K-Hub is carrying through on her threat to hop up on the corner outside with the window.
Damn it, again.
Rise, Bob.
Nice.
Oh,
Tease.
if
What
you
a
people
tease.
only knew what went on in the
Tease.
studio here. Bob has decided that for whatever reason he's going to try and clean and healthy living. So Bob is the only one of us not drinking. So you might as well just stop listening now because the show's going to be a train wreck.
Well, he got excited because this one was going to be all about sales and networking and not actually IT and techie stuff. So he was getting all
No
excited.
more
he wanted to be
QA talk,
he,
please.
He wanted to be sober for 6 days. It's like, what the hell?
I've been working up to this for a whole week.
That's a record.
You know what? Honestly,
I think the last time Bob went 6 days without drinking, it had to have been, the ages leading up to your 9th birthday.
Well, I asked him if he joined a cult. I didn't understand.
You know what
it.
I did? You know what I did this weekend?
I did nothing. I did absolutely nothing, and it was everything that I thought it could be.
No, seriously, I did nothing.
God bless Merca.
I was telling the guys at the bar, I cooked for my entire family, like 2 meals a day. I rearranged the cabinets, the glasses. I went shopping.
And Bo said, "Who are you?"
That explains the apron.
My husband.
What
I'm sorry. Are you
explains the
nesting?
apron.
What have you done with Bob? Animals. It's like, Bob, do you want a shot? No.
And how did you nullify that goodwill in like 4 seconds?
Oh,
Yeah, Bob apparently went all sleeping with the enemy and arranged the cabinets in a specific order.
Right.
Then I discussed, don't put stuff away stupid next time so I don't have to do this again. And completely nullified my 2 hours of good deeds.
Boom. The stupid word or crazy.
And it's all done. Yep. Might as well have done absolutely nothing.
And I should have just went to the bar.
Would have been much less painful for you in the long run.
How's everybody else's weekend?
Well, we introduced Scott. We do also have Jeff
who
Haas
else is here?
with us in studio. The player to be named later.
Well, thank you.
Haas has been around with us basically
since day one.
Yeah, since the 08 reincarnation of DetroitNet, and as we get into, talking about ways to screw up your job, your career, and other facets of your life, who better to chime in than Jeff? Sure, send me to Singapore for 3 months. I trust you, Haas.
It'll only last for 4 months.
One year later.
For 4 months.
We'll keep paying your rent, I swear.
What does that mean, been with you?
Huh?
What does that mean, been with you for a while? I'm just curious.
It's purely platonic.
You have no idea what goes on after Detroit Net meetings, do you?
Who are you referring to?
I've been there. What do you mean?
Scott, you were the one that asked the question.
So I guess let's get on track. Scott, I guess some interesting stuff. You were at the debut of the Microsoft store at Somerset. Was it everything you thought it would be and more?
Oh, it was hugely exciting. Not to mention, I'm a big Microsoft guy. I work for a Microsoft partner.
Why is he here?
I know.
I don't understand. Well, everyone's using an iPhone. Shouldn't you be on fire right now?
Bottom line, there were some pretty big people there.
Well, yeah, they had Mayor Bing.
Mayor Bing was there
at the Microsoft.
Were you actually there
debut.
for the breakfast thing, or were you
Kelly
just
Clarkson was there.
No, the day before.
Oh, the day before.
Yeah. So yeah, Mayor Bing was there. It was great. We shook his hands and he walked on out. He was there briefly. Bomber was there. Steve Ballmer. He did a great job.
I thought you said Dahmer. I'm
No,
like, didn't he die in
Ballmer,
prison back in Chicago?
He is so. And you ever watch him speak?
Oh yeah.
That's pretty much his.
He's sort of he's very much the van down by the river guy. Let me tell you, we've got Microsoft 8.1.
He toned it down a bit, but he had the hand gestures. He did a good job.
I mean, is there any reason to go down? I mean, so that
what
just
is
retail?
what is the Microsoft store? I mean, is it?
It's a retail store.
It's the Apple store, but with the Windows.
Oh, sorry. No, it's the Microsoft retail store, right?
Oh,
I love the fact
all their products, all their devices. So you've got the Surface, you've got the Xbox, you've got all the phones.
They were talking about work collaboration. Is that something going on? Like work collaboration? They're talking about offices, or you can come in there and actually do work. Is that going on, or is it just retail?
It's retail. Actually, for the partners, for the Microsoft partners, we're going to have the ability to bring in.
So if you know the secret handshake,
right?
The secret handshake is very expensive.
So it's a training outlet for companies like that.
It's going to be used as a training outlet, among other things.
So they have a data center going on there too, or is it just?
Because I'll be honest with you, we had every intention of making it to the whole VIP breakfast thing they were doing on Saturday morning.
Sleep prevailed,
and then we found out it was at 8:30 in the morning
on a Saturday.
That's way too early.
Well, yeah,
and we thank the GDI.
The Girl Developer Girls were awesome for hooking us up with that. But then I found out not only 8:30 on a Saturday morning, one, pants were not optional. And two,
vans were not optional.
So you were not allowed to bring.
You had to wear pants, right?
You had to wear pants,
and I had to hide my MacBook and my iPhone
exactly.
and my iPad.
And two, you were not allowed to bring a thermos full of Bloody Marys. And I'm sorry,
fail.
Fail
Microsoft. Fail.
Sorry, guys.
Anyways,
we tried to be there for you.
Little story. The other day, my daughter broke her iPhone, and it's all cracked up. I had the warranty on it, so I brought it into the store. I had to wait my 6 hours, right?
For the Genius.
The Microsoft store?
Oh,
Were you lost?
The Apple store, right?
Microsoft sells an iPhone?
6 hours waiting for one of those guys to come over and help me out. So I brought my Surface in because my daughter needed to transfer some files. I didn't think she had that many files on her phone. So I had my Surface out. I broke it out.
Little do you know.
Let's ask the important question. And your daughter is how old?
13.
Oh, wow. Were you dude, my daughter's like getting ready to turn 6, and she already has more data on our tablet than I do.
Yeah, my 10-year-old has one too.
Yeah.
It's actually sickening. Yeah, I've actually had to restrict the internet access for my daughter's iPad.
Oh, you betcha.
Yes.
So I found out that it's turned into a camcorder, and I go, how many hours of video do you have?
She FaceTimes. For crying out loud, she's 6. I'm like, how did you even get into the FaceTime app?
Well, and every time I turn around, I hear, like, when I'm walking around the house, I just hear click, 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 because they're taking screen caps of their games that they're playing. Yeah.
Snapchat.
And there goes the memory.
Oh, my daughter winds up on Snapchat. Somebody's getting their ass beat. That's all I'm saying.
It's a different world, isn't it?
Yeah, dude.
Different perspective.
Well, Gretchen wanted to get on Kick, and I'm like, no. Maybe no.
Okay, so welcome to IT and the D, parenting via social media. That's right. We're just going to totally shift gears here.
We've totally alienated Haas. I'm sorry, Jeff.
Sorry, I don't have kids. I really
that
can't
you know
participate.
You do date young girls though, so.
And his last time he's on the air.
His first and last time here.
His phone number is.
Is this any different though than a Detroit Net event? I mean, it's just the barrage continues.
Always.
Well, I haven't slapped
now
him.
we're just recording ourselves.
I haven't slapped him, and he's not paying anybody to slap me.
Well, you're
yet,
across the
so,
table
yeah.
yet. He's out of arm's reach, actually.
So again, like we said, phone number if anybody wants to call in 313-462-0107, or you can get us at Twitter at IT and the D. This show is all about called It's a Trap, so we're going to find out ways that you can mess up either your job search or at your job or things going on after your job.
Well, and we do have, I mean, so Scott, I mean, before your current role, you were a recruiter for a number of years. So, I mean, I'm sure you've seen all of the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad resumes over the years. And Haas has been in a number of roles over the years, whether as a consultant or an employee. And I mean, he and I have swapped horror stories over the crap that we've seen. It's real easy to, I mean, I guess just from a basics perspective, we talked about the Detroit Net events. It's real easy to screw up at a networking event. I mean, it's real easy to be, either the closet case that isn't talking to anybody, or the oily weasel guy that that hides his badge and pretends to be a
or the
job
guy that
seeker.
shows up and just grabs a bar stool and doesn't talk to anybody.
Who would that be?
Oh wait. Or when you drink too much and you start making out with somebody next to you.
And who would that be?
Oh, so Bob. Oh, wait, well, in his defense, though, it was his wife that showed up at the event that night, so he's still clean and good to go.
Bingo.
But no, I mean, it's our events are laid back and casual, but they are in bars, and I mean, it is still networking, and the whole thing that we always hammer on people about is that you get into it you get out of it what you put into it. You can't be a wallflower. You can't be, hiding off to the side and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, Jeff, use, I guess, to just kind of drag you into the fold here a little bit. You've been coming around for years now, why? Other than us, obviously you're a masochist because the abuse that we heap on you.
Most definitely.
But so why? And what do you see? And just in that vein, what do you think?
Well, as crazy as it is, I somehow enjoy your company a little bit.
And it hasn't been a straight cash payoff.
No cash involved. No cash involved, thankfully. But I do enjoy.
Closer to the mic.
Sorry, I'm just.
The hand gestures just aren't coming through. There you go.
Well, hey, it's a
sorry, we're trying to pantomime to Jeff. You're a moron. Get closer to the microphone, and that wasn't working. So there we go.
Yeah, we got it now. Thank you for the subtlety. I appreciate that.
You were saying
but it's always good to talk with people that are involved in the industry that you work in. Good to find out what else is going on in the space. It just adds perspective. It's once a month that I can go and have conversations with people that are doing similar work, working on projects like that. Have a couple cocktails and just socialize and meet new people, kind of branch out and expand my horizons.
If you think about in a venue like the Blackfin, though, if you're easily distracted, that is not a very good place, right? The squirrel factor comes
Well, that's
in.
why we lock everybody in the back room.
We try to
away
keep
from
them in the
Jersey
back room
Shore
as much as
crowd,
possible. Yeah, with the door closed and the back wall closed as much as possible. I mean, it gets bad in the summer months when they open it up, and it's a welcome change when they do that. But to Bob's point, it does get distracting pretty quick.
Well, I mean, you look at our April event. I mean, coming off of the 313 event down at St. Andrews Hall. Maria knew. I mean, before we even got there, the back doors were open, and it did. I mean, it got packed and full and crazy in there. And when you walk into a room with 150, 180 people, it can be a little overwhelming and intimidating. And that's something that we just talked about with Quicken and CompuWare and those guys. With their class that they have going on. That it's okay to feel intimidated, but the analogy we always use is you don't look at all 150 people standing in the back of the room like, oh my god, I have to meet everybody right now. Just like you don't walk up and sit down at the bar and go, I'm going to try one of each of the pretty bottles as soon as I can. Bad idea.
Well, I'll be honest with you, the biggest mistake I make
is sitting at the bar
on a bar stool
and not talking to anybody.
But even when
but it's not doing that tonight.
Even when you're talking to people for some reason, you always, when you're having a conversation with person A, you're always looking for who am I going to have the next conversation with. So you're always looking over their shoulder, looking left, looking
and
right.
that's horrible. And
It's the worst thing you could ever do as a networker. We all are.
Well, but it's a necessary
that's
evil in our role
Exactly.
because you're
That's the
always
nature-
looking for who's looking for me.
When you're working a room in a good way, that's the nature of the beast. You almost have to cut off a conversation midstream. Otherwise, you're going to be talking to the same person for 20 minutes. And then the event's over.
But I think the important thing to remember is you guys are playing a different role, right? You're there to basically run the event, make sure it's moving smoothly, and you're also trying to keep everybody engaged, right?
We're traffic cops. Yep.
I mean, you're pulling everything together. People,
But not
that are
everybody
looking-
knows that. Not everybody knows it. Because I mean, they'll ask me, "What do you do?" And I said, "Well, I kind of organize this." You know.
Well, the nice thing about your events is you walk in the door, you get greeted immediately by some happy faces, some pretty girls, and the comfort level's there, right? Most times, right, guys?
Right.
And then there's really no pressure. You walk in, you meet some people. After one event, you become a veteran. You kind of know how to mingle and work the crowd. It's like like the first night at Fight Club. The first thing you do at Fight Club, if you're new, is fight, right? So you get there, you've got to get out there and engage just a little bit, meet with some people. So,
and it's real easy to point out the newbies, so to speak. I mean, they're usually standing in the corner, standing at the bar, yep, and they're usually holding a manila folder full of resumes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and I mean, and that's the killer that we always harp on people about is
don't bring your resumes.
Well, not only that, but don't make it a one-time thing. I mean, to Scott's point, it's and we had this happen at Atwater. That was probably the last conversation that Bob and I had that night that was actually really kind of cool to hear. Was the guy that walked up to us at the end of the night and said, "Hey, you know what? I walked in here, and there were all these little pockets of 2 and 3 people, and I was like, oh my god, everybody knew each other."
Right.
And then he actually referenced, hearing us on the show talking about it, how nobody knows each other.
Just break into it.
Yeah, it's an open, friendly environment. Walk up, say hello, and that's what he did. And he wound up making his way around the entire room before he even made it back to Bob and I that night. And that was, that was the really cool thing about it.
That's the one thing I'm glad, I'm kind of not saying proud of, but that there's no cliques. Everyone knows everybody, but for the most part, you're kind of there. We see enough of you guys outside of it where when we're there for business, we're there for business.
Well, and really, the only clique that's there are the people that show up regularly.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even really call that a clique. It's just people. It's familiarity more than
regulars.
Clique. Yeah.
No, because that's what I remember going to old networking events back before we even, I think right when we just started reincarnating this. So I'm trying to go to every event, trying to figure out what's good and what's wrong. I would go to other events and they would talk about how great their event is. And then, you do the 30-second commercial and then, then it clicked off, and I'm like, wait a minute.
And then step 2, and then step 3, profit.
Right.
Well, step 4, give me your $20.
I think IT and D.
No, that's usually step 1.
Yeah, right. I think IT and D should put together a quick seminar to help people engage and go to networking events
for free.
What you should do, what you shouldn't do for free or charge.
We do. It's called the 10 Commandments of Networking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the shtick that we put out there to make people understand that they shouldn't be paying $20 to learn how to use LinkedIn. They shouldn't be.
But to Scott's point, I mean, the audience for that might be in need for expanding because
huge.
it's right.
Not just for IT, across the board. I mean,
we
there's
do-
a lot of people who go to these events. I go to lots.
They don't
of
know any
different
better.
events. They have no idea. They walk around. They're holding their drinks. They're looking at the ceiling. And they're there for 20 minutes, talk to one of their friends, and they're out.
And I'll be honest with you. I mean, that's
And
one
I've
of the
seen that a lot,
things
too.
that kills me because I, like whenever and you mentioned it, when I was on 96.3 and doing that kind of stuff. Whenever there's an event after one of those appearances, and the people that show up go, God, I'd never heard of you guys before. That's like a dagger to the chest to me. I mean, I'm like,
no, there's a two-edged sword because, and that you're like, oh my god, I can't believe you never heard of us. Then when people say I listen to your radio show, I'm like, wait, what? You actually listen? Like you actually know?
You're the one.
Oh well, no, I mean, no, but I mean, like, so, like, Tipsy McStaggers. The last time we were there was right after a 96.3 thing. 3/4 of the crowd that showed up there said, "Yeah, I heard you on the radio this morning, and that's why I showed up here. I'd never heard of you guys before." And I'm like, God.
But that's
why are we sucking? What are we not doing
that
right?
many people listen to 96.3. That was
Power of radio.
way to throw
Blade and Allison in the morning. Hey guys, love you. Going to shoot a little tweet out for you.
And that'll be the last time you're on that show. But that's the problem. We get a spike in traffic, foot traffic, coming into our very next event.
And it's a solo appearance.
And they're one and done. And that's the absolute worst thing you can possibly do when you're
because that's
networking.
not networking.
It's not building a network.
Right.
Well, they think they're going to get something. Oh my god, I didn't get any leads.
They're
I
there
didn't get a
they're,
job.
they're there for a handout of some sort.
Yeah.
Well, it's the
trinkets.
right.
The analogy I always use is it's the difference between
a one-night stand, and a relationship. You know, and it's
Jeff,
true.
you want to chime in on that?
Seeing as how that you're the one that got us flagged for being a dating site.
That would be Jeff Haas. We need to refer to him
I love how I
as
take the
Haas.
flag for all of this.
I'm going to get myself in trouble here.
Wait, do you want to?
Exactly.
Do you want to talk about that real quick? That's actually a funny story.
Oh yeah, so today I get a text message from somebody with a screenshot that lets me know that their corporate firewall from Barracuda Networks has flagged us as a dating personal site, and they can't get to us. Like DetroitNet.org is flagged as a dating and personals website. Like, and I know that we've joked about.
They need to tune down their DNS.
Yeah, seriously. Like, I know we've joked about being like the eHarmony and Match.com.
You need to stop
of
putting
the,
your number on the bathroom walls.
It's usually Bob's.
There's a blog post called The Dating Corollary, right?
We have a whole series called The Dating Corollary.
Actually,
that's one of our more popular posts. Actually,
when you Google like Detroit prostitution, it's the LinkedIn prostitution ring.
It's the very first thing. We almost got banned from LinkedIn too, didn't we?
Oh God, that was really Anytime, So hey,
thanks prostitution.
Fun
LinkedIn,
things to try at home,
prostitution.
kids. If you Google Detroit escorts or Detroit escort services, you'll wind up at DetroitNet.
And the blog was about LinkedIn companies selling connections, right? So it was a complete.
I'm a LinkedIn Lion member.
I connected to a guy today, and then I saw he had like 20,000 linked. He recognized me from a couple things. Like, he goes, I'm a big LinkedIn user. I'm like, cool, he's a coworker now. I'm like, I saw 20,000 connections. I'm like,
weren't you just proud that you purged all of your LinkedIn connections that actually had the lion in the back?
Yeah, we need to have another International Prune Your Network Day. We really
absolutely do. Yep.
I'm at 1,008. I don't need to be over 700. I'm sorry.
I was mad when I like sat down.
I was too.
When I opened up and I'm like, oh. Your LinkedIn connections, and it was like it was like 1,004 or 1,005, and I'm like, I'm the guy that wrote LinkedIn is not a video game. Wow,
you cannot level up.
Yeah, exactly.
I think at this stage in our 15 years, though, I mean, how long have we been using LinkedIn? 8-9 years. I think it's inevitable that we hit 1,000.
Well,
especially doing Detroit.
Well, but the point of those is there are a lot of those that came 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
and it's time for them to go. We haven't heard from them.
But DetroitNet has 4,400 members, 4,200 members. So it's like we're only connected to personally, which is probably right.
Well, it's the way it should be.
Absolutely.
I mean, and that's what we tell everybody. You know what? When you come to one of our events, you shouldn't be rushing home and firing off a LinkedIn request to us to connect.
If you have a cup of coffee with me, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and that's how it should be. I guess.
When's our event? The 18th.
July 18th. I guess that's a good point.
Yeah,
we haven't talked about any of that nonsense yet. July 18th, Blackfin. Speaking of Blackfin,
501
back room, 501 start time.
I believe Megan will be our bartender rock star.
Excellent. We like Megan.
Oh yes. I might be drinking by then, so just to warn you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
you'll be drinking by the end of tonight.
It'll happen.
From a marketing perspective, you really need to work on referring to your events as nonsense.
Nonsense?
He did. He said we haven't talked about any of this nonsense yet.
Oh, we shouldn't be referring to it as nonsense.
That's what I'm telling you.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, but we're
live on the air marketing advice.
But we're basically
clearly people we have absolutely no idea what.
But we
doing.
don't take ourselves seriously. I mean, and that's the entire point, and that's always been what we've always been about. Is we've always been the anti-group. We've always been the. No, it's not going to be serious when you get there, and I refuse to turn us into something else.
Next, we're going to make business cards for you, and it's not Dave's secretary anymore. You're going to be Rush Chairman.
No,
Dan.
no. I'm his secretary.
We're going to get a Haas a pledge pin.
Yeah, if anybody ever wants to email Jeff Haas, and there's a great backstory here, they can email him at DavePhillipsIsMySecretary at gmail.com.
No, but we're going to give you a pledge
pin.
pin.
Respond too.
So guys, so people that want to go to this, want to go to the next event, what are some good tips for them to get out there and actually go to these events? People that might be nervous or hesitant.
Step one: honestly, overcome everything and show up.
Well, show up is the first and foremost, and it's like we've always said: find one of the three of us. I mean, it's not that hard. The running shtick is it's not a dating website. You will actually recognize us from the photos that we have online, and that's our job. That's who we are and what we do. Well, except for Bob, whose job is to sit on a bar stool and ignore everyone. What we do at these things is to have conversations with people and make sure that they get what they need out of our events. I mean, that's
so Scott, if you look at our events, right? Maybe let's say there's 100 people there. I will venture to say there's 99 different reasons people showed up.
Right.
So, I mean, one of the key things, go up to Dave and say, hey, what are you looking for? You know?
Will each one of those reasons be in a red balloon?
and a day one.
Balloons.
Maybe you bring a wingman, right? So have someone
and
accompanies you and bring.
Well, that's part of the Ten Commandments.
we've actually
is
talked
always
about that.
travel in
Yeah,
pairs
always-
if you can. Bring a friend,
That's
do
key.
your thing.
It's a
I think that's the
confidence thing.
biggest piece.
Right.
I usually bring my wife because she's tall, blonde, hot, and attracts
Way
a lot of attention.
to sneak that in. That was good for you.
I love you, honey.
Oh, she's
a lot of
listening?
attention.
Is she actually listening?
I'm sure she is.
Yeah.
Well, and that's when Bob was traveling a lot and Bo would just show up at our events for the longest time, we were actually debating whether or not we needed Bob anymore. Because
pretty much,
Agreed.
Been replaced.
I've been the Bill Gates of Microsoft. We don't need you no more, Bill. Just go away.
yeah, thanks. You're the third guy from Apple. Have a nice night.
640 is enough for anyone. Bob at 2 or 3 events is enough for anyone.
Right? Yeah, we just need 2 out of 3 and then send Bo to the third one. That's all we need.
We're good.
Have you recommended that people bring branding cards instead of getting rid of the resumes?
Absolutely.
Having a card
Yeah.
with just
Well, Scott, God, I mean,
Right,
you know
what I
us.
mean?
Yeah, if you bring a resume to one of our events,
We'll
we're
rip
gonna,
it up.
Well, we'll tell you not to. I mean, that's the whole
Kind of
point.
like wearing a tie, Mr. Haas.
Yeah, let's not even get started.
Sharp dress man.
You know what? And I do.
He is a sharp dress
I have
man.
to give a shout out to Haas, who last week we sat
I'm
here.
completely taken aback. by
No,
the way. I
actually,
can't
he-
imagine.
He always makes us look bad.
No, it was 2 weeks ago. We sat here and made fun of Haas and his pink shirts.
Pink pants.
And then we went to a charity event where Haas showed up wearing pink pants. And when we asked him what the hell's with the pink pants, he said, "Well, you said I wasn't supposed to wear pink shirts anymore."
Running it off.
You were clearly not specific enough.
Exactly. The criteria was not well defined. But no, I mean, and what we always tell people is, look, you don't want to carry around a stack of your resumes all night long. Recruiters or whoever else don't want to carry around a stack of everyone's resumes all night long. Don't do it.
That's what the internet is for.
Vistaprint, $10.
Yeah,
You know
what?
And
I mean, heck,
absolutely.
the first batch is free. I mean,
oh, but then you get the crappy logo stuff on the back.
doesn't
Get rid
matter.
of that.
Nobody cares.
Doesn't matter.
Eh.
Nobody cares.
$10.
Bob cares.
Apparently.
No, I mean, if you're looking for an easy way to market at our networking events, I mean, Scott, to your point, do the Vistaprint, free business card thing. Don't bring a resume.
Or if
easy contact
or
information,
go to Staples,
name, phone number,
Office Max, wherever.
whatever.
Buy the card
Right.
stock and run it through a printer. And
Yeah,
be
and
done with
Scott,
it.
one of the things we always tell people do, like when you get the business cards, if you're a software developer, put software developer. If you're looking for a job, let's go sales guy.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a Java guy. I'm a .NET guy.
I'm in between sales guy, in between jobs. It's okay to be, don't. We always talk about Heyman and Hahn, right? Well, I'm kind of. It's kind of.
I coalesce the vapors of the essence of life. Oh, artist.
And that's the whole point of the free batch of Vistaprint cards. I mean, you can put that stuff on there. I'm a job seeker looking for a .NET opportunity, whatever the case may be.
But it's
Because that's not your permanent card. Who cares?
But it's like dating, though, too. It's when you meet somebody for the first time. Do you want to meet the girl guy that goes, well, I'm kind of doing this for work? Or do you want to meet the person that looks you right in the eyes and said, this is what I'm doing?
Right.
Well, I think to that point, like Scott, you asked about what do you do at an event, right? And all you have to do is try to meet somebody and go up to somebody and introduce yourself and assert yourself as what you are. Say I'm a .NET developer. Say I'm a Java developer and I'm looking for work, because you're bound to hit a recruiter that's at this event that's probably looking.
But the cool thing is,
or they'll point you in the right direction.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing with the networking event, too, everyone's there to meet somebody. So it's not like you're going to get the shun or you're going to get the who's this loser.
All right, well, I tell you what, we're actually at 9:30. We're at our first break, guys, believe it or not. So let's take 5 and off we go.
We'll be right back.
Transform and roll out. You got the touch. You got the power.
IT and the D Show, Raw Radio X Studios, presented by DetroitNet.org. Phone numbers, if you guys want to call in, 313-462-0107. You can get us on Twitter, at IT and the D, Facebook, all that good stuff. Funny tidbit before we jump into the next segment. Ralph Macchio is older today than Mr. Miyagi was when they filmed Karate Kid. Does that
Are
make
you
feel,
kidding me?
I am not. I read that like 2 weeks ago.
That's the second thing I want to slap you for so far tonight.
That's like the reference I put on Facebook saying that 1947 is as old in 1980 as right now
and who
is.
posted that reference?
That would be me.
Yeah, you're jerk.
We're old, dude. We're old.
So is
we're seasoned.
Well, yeah, we're seasoned.
So you guys making fun of the Karate Kid? I'm just curious.
No, absolutely not. No.
Big fans.
Sure.
Oh no, you don't understand. We actually
I was
had,
ready to walk out. Sorry.
No, we actually had Cobra Kai hoodies made up when we went and tried out for the World Series of Pop Culture. That Bob blew for us, just for the record.
Because I didn't know Gilmore Girls. Who knows Gilmore Girls? No
Everybody but you.
A lot of girls.
We could all educatedly guess.
So this is episode 6. It's a trap. We're talking about, I guess, things you could do wrong at networking events, things you could do wrong in your job search. And we, first segment was about the networking event, and you guys had a decent conversation during the break, as always.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's one of those things where, as soon as the mics turn off, the great conversations start, and we have to cut ourselves off. So now that we're talking, again, Scott, you and I were talking about things to do and not to do when you're job searching. And people, we've talked about this till we're blue in the face. Facebook. The internet is your permanent record, and when you're job seeking, you need to make sure that your Facebook profile is purged of all of the keg stands and all the other stuff that.
Well,
there wasn't. No, hold on, time out real quick.
There was a fun little article that actually was on the IT and the D page a couple days ago.
Yeah,
I saw you posted
right.
it today.
Yeah. Yep.
That, you know what? Maybe posting yourself, posting a picture with a beer
but
is not that bad.
But there's still a line.
There's limits, right, guys?
It depends on the company. It really does.
I think a beer in your hand.
It's all about culture.
I think a beer in your hand at a picnic, fine. Beer in your hand with a Juggalo face paint, maybe you should leave that one for.
Well, but I mean, honestly, on some level, then it comes back to because I've gotten asked, hey, don't you worry about Detroit Net and the things you write, and maybe people getting torqued off about it. At the end of the day, no, because if they are really that upset about it, that's probably not someplace I want to be working for anyway.
Well, Scott, I mean, what's your impression from your side of the table with that?
Well, first I want to ask you this question. What about a guy with a beer in his hand on a boat with 3 girls' bikinis behind you?
And you mean your new profile picture?
Well, guilty as charged. But let's put it in a different perspective. Those 3, I mean, maybe it's a family shot, and those 3 girls are your daughters.
Yes. No. Yeah. Absolutely, though. You make a good point.
I mean, we're joking about it,
right,
but I mean,
right.
that's absolutely could be the case.
You have to use common sense, right? You can't put pictures up there, topless pictures. You can't put pictures of throwing up or doing really stupid things. You've got to use your common sense. A lot of situations, these recruiters are going to LinkedIn first. The second place they're going is Facebook. Who is this person that I'm going to hire? Let's take a look at really what they do. I looked at them on LinkedIn from the professional perspective. Let's take a look at them from their home life.
Well,
so let me ask you this then. Well,
and it really depends on the company you're working for and the culture.
Well, that's what
Dave makes a great point by saying that.
Right, and culture is a big thing of it. So, but as a hiring company, would a candidate be immediately suspect if their Facebook profile is completely locked down?
I don't think so, because that's your right. You want to lock your profile down, you have the absolute right to do that. There's been a lot of discussion about this.
Right.
But think about it from a sales guy perspective, Scotty. I mean, I'd never hire a sales guy that doesn't drink a beer or golf.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's
where business gets done.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely. Yes. But do you want your I guess it depends, though, right?
No, but in the politically correct world, that's not supposed to be how it works.
Yeah, whatever. Us in the real world,
by fruit baskets.
No, you need to use common sense. That's the bottom line. Don't go over the line. Use your common sense.
You know what, though? But if there's one thing that Bob and I have learned, over the course of all the, the shifting gears and everything else that we've done, dude, if common sense
don't get it.
If common sense were really all that common, we wouldn't need to be here.
You know what? Here's a good rule of thumb. If you don't know, ask your friends. Poll. Get an opinion from other people. And maybe not just your friends.
But some people aren't.
Yeah, because your friends might be just as dumb as you are.
Part of that.
Right. They're actually standing next to you in the picture.
You know what I found out?
Strike that.
10 years ago, I've been, I don't remember seeing this many OCD control people that, these days, then
Dave almost spit out his beer.
I didn't realize.
I wish there was a webcam in here. We almost actually lost the soundboard there.
Wow.
No, but if you think about it, if you have an ego the size of Mars, and if you are an OCD control freak, you're not going to ask your friends because you think you are the bomb. You think you are the best thing ever.
What did you say about my ego?
The best around.
Exactly.
Stop. Just stop right now. Just stop.
This room isn't big enough, guys.
But you follow what I'm saying though, right? Because when we talk at these shifting gears events, we talk about we think is common sense, and people are like, "Oh my God, it's revelating." We're like, "What's going on?"
Well, that's why we call it the 10 Commandments of networking, because they think it's
that's what
upon high.
That's what
they've
kills
never
me,
heard of it before.
Is you would swear that on some level that Bob, that we're literally walking down off of a mountain with stone tablets. The way people react to this stuff, and we're like, this is common sense. People,
the next time they ask DetroitNet to actually present, we should come out in robes. Seriously,
with big fake beards.
Yes, and a staff. Maybe that will hammer that point home a little bit more.
One of the rants that I go on is voicemail.
Oh God,
guy.
please, next meeting, do that. I'll rent the robes, please.
We got to shave our heads in monk though.
Nice, yeah, Donna. If you're listening, we're sorry in advance.
No, but one of the rants I go on at the shifting gears events and all that is a voicemail guy. And it's like, it's 2013. I think we all get it that we're out of the office, can't make it to the phone, that you leave a message after the beep, and I know you're going to call me back at your earliest convenience. It's like, do you really need to keep reiterating this to me?
Well, and that's especially if you're calling somebody's cell phone. I genuinely can't remember the last time you or I or you or Jeff, left each other a voicemail. It's usually
hi.
It's I saw you called. I'll call you back.
Yep, exactly. Like I
Phil
saw Phil's call. Yep, right.
Yeah, if you could just call me back,
I leave
that'd be great.
Within the next 4 minutes, that'd be great. Because if you call after 4 minutes, I'll be in the bathroom.
Yeah, hi.
So here's the thing: if you're in sales and you're making phone calls, you've got to leave messages. But if I'm calling you guys, I'm probably not going to leave a message. I'll text you. But if I haven't talked to you in a long time, I'm probably going to leave you a message if I can't get you, and I want you to get back.
Yeah, dude, seriously, something's going on now.
But Scott, listen, though.
Come over to the bar. We got shots. Quick.
Nice.
Scott, listen, all the people, how many calls you make a day? Like 30, 40, right? A good sales guy makes 30, 40.
200, 300.
Right. You're calling fax machines if you're calling them. But what
and Scott's new nickname is RoboDialer.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, though, the guy
200?
That's
before lunch.
We don't know who's listening. 200.
But the thing is, everybody you leave a voicemail to.
I love it.
Think about the time you spend a minute and a half on each voicemail just listening to the greeting.
Well, you're gonna do the numbers.
Buddy, I'd return your phone call, but I'm busy making 200 sales calls
honestly,
a day.
No, Bob's right. 30 to 60 calls a day. 60's high. We're not in the business of dialing for dollars.
But that's almost an hour of your day you waste listening to.
Well, you guys aren't selling windows. There's a difference. I mean, you guys are at the point in your careers from a sales perspective. It's about the relationship, and that's the whole point.
Absolutely.
Wow, and I just brought that conversation to a grinding halt. Awesome.
Yeah, once again, Phillips, you really,
Dave talked about sales.
What did we talk about? Open-ended questions.
I know. Come on, I suck at that. I feel like I'm a lawyer during a deposition. And where were you on the evening of July 23rd?
Good segue. The biggest thing in sales is building trust. It's not about what you know or how much you know or how much technology you have baked in your brain. It's about building relationships with people. It's about building trust. People buy from who they trust.
Well, do you know how me and Dave met each other? I cold called him trying to sell him Colo.
There was this Craigslist ad.
Yeah, right.
And long walks on the beach.
Thank God there wasn't Facebook back then.
No, and in the beginning, all I wanted to do was sell him Colo. And then I finally, the switch clicked in my, I was 25 or 26, and the switch clicked, and I said, dude, let's just go grab a coffee or a beer. He said, fine. And then, the rest is history.
And here we sit.
Or infamy, as they should say.
We're infamous.
But the fact of the matter is, I don't have a point.
We've all been in the situation.
No, well, the point. You're building a relationship at that point.
Absolutely.
Salesman to a good point kicked in.
That's when it changed from sales guy to relationship. Literally. When Bob, I had Bob in my phone for 3 years.
Yeah, I remember these stories.
Yeah, before I ever truly called him back.
No, let's have a beer. Yes.
But that's genuine, right?
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. You're looking for somebody to be genuine, and if you're looking for a job, you should be genuine about searching for a job. Establishing, Bob, you talked, and Scott, you talked about establishing a relationship with somebody. Bob, when you finally got through to Dave, it was let's grab a coffee, let's have a conversation, let's grab a beer.
But the fact
that you were trying to connect to him.
When I finally met with him, I didn't need anything.
Genuine.
I didn't need anything. That's the point of networking. It's the point of dating. I didn't need anything, so I didn't go up to him going, dude, if you don't buy something right now, I'm not going to hit quota and I'm going to get fired, right? We just had a conversation.
That's the cliche, right? The best time to look for a job is when you have a job.
Absolutely.
Right, because there's no pressure.
There's no pressure.
Bottom line, there's two ways, right? So either you need to talk to somebody because you need to do your job, or you're just planting seeds. Planting seeds is a great way to build a relationship long term. You can take baby steps. But if you're in a position where you need to go out and find somebody to do, close business with, the biggest piece is just be yourself, be honest. It's easy to remember the truth. And bottom line, if you're going to set an appointment, make it.
Well, and you should be going
Keep
to your
your word.
network for that. I mean, that's I mean, as a sales guy,
Right.
I mean, your best ROI is to turn to your network instead of a cold call.
Right.
Well, think about
these events are for.
Yeah, in our events, I mean, recruiters can't be more transparent, right? They're begging for .NET people. They're begging for mobile app develops. If you're out there looking for a job or looking for a new opportunity and you are employed, say that. Don't hide behind some false, I'm looking for new opportunities. Just be yourself. And we've had blog entries about this.
Yep.
Don't try to BS through your a conversation because it'll get found out.
You're on a sales call and you're talking to a prospect, and you can't deliver the service they want, then do the right thing and recommend them to somebody that can do the work. And
Because
build
they'll
that
remember
channel.
that.
Well,
Everyone appreciates
that's
that.
one of the arguments me and Dave always had was, sales guys are worthless. And I'm like, techies are worthless. And we'd have this back and
Without
forth
sales
banter.
guys, we wouldn't exist, right?
Well, no.
That's
I came to the realization that I need a very good pre-sales engineer or design engineer to make a really good product, right? Then you need a sales guy to have that relationship and to bring revenue. Then you also need a really good post-sales engineer and support staff to continue the ongoing relationship, right? So it's got to be, I met too many engineers in my life that thought that they were the coolest people ever and they could do everything by themselves and they didn't need us cheesy sales guys.
It's
right?
a team effort. It's a team effort all the way.
I came to that realization probably the day after I came to the realization I didn't have to cold call people to sell stuff. I just had to, be honest and tell them what's going on. And I think the same holds true with, I think the walls have been broken down a lot between, because back in the day, 96, you get a guy who gets his Cisco cert and he thinks he's king of the world because he gets to look at green blinking lights all day. And, who are you, you crappy sales guys.
Not realizing that, every single grant that came out on the planet let everybody else get the same cert at the same time with the same,
Well, you think about where was I working at? Vario. And like all the engineers they came out of Domino's Pizza. They were delivering, and they went and got a Cisco cert. And now all of a sudden, you're cool.
Everyone's got a Cisco cert, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But it was like, hey, guys, I realize that I need you. Could you please realize you need me too?
Yeah, in the consulting world, the best way to sell.
I swear to God, I thought you were like 3 seconds away from starting to sing "People Who Need People."
Scott was actually talking.
No, keep going. It was great. Serenading me. But basically, the best way to sell is once you build that relationship as a salesperson, you're in, and you've got your technical people to back up what you're talking about. And you're building trust further, and that just grows the relationship.
To your point, Scott, I mean, it is. I mean, it's about the relationship and being able to go to it when you need to.
Bob, how many times have you been on a sales call? And
once.
Once or twice. And, you go through your presentation, and you're talking about the solution, and then they immediately look at your technical resource. They want that backup. They want that comfort, that reassurance that what you're saying can be done.
Well, I learned a long
God
time
forbid
ago.
salespeople say they can do everything.
I learned a long time ago to bring
that never happens.
Yeah.
Never.
I learned a long time ago, bring my engineer with me. Don't talk too much and defer. Because at the end of the day, I'm the guy.
Sounds like a 3-point bullet list.
It absolutely is.
I'm sorry. When did you learn "Don't talk too much"? Because
in sales calls, you haven't seen me on a sales call in a while. No, but it's the relationship.
Knowing when to stop talking.
That guy, the customer needs to know that I go, listen, my job here is to be available and to give you the best price you can possibly have. This guy's job is
and to pick up the bar tab and possibly
and take your golf.
Hey, you joke about it, but that's absolutely true.
It's inevitable.
It's hard work. Someone's got to do it, boys.
Yeah, exactly. No wonder why we get a bad rap.
Did you try to expense a strip club trip?
I did what I had to do to scare the business, sir.
This hangover, it's all for you.
Wow.
We completely sidetracked.
We did.
No, it's fine. But again, though, a sales guy that walks in and spewing features and benefits and thinks he's going to get a sale, he's going to lose. It's got nothing to do with it. You can walk in and talk about how great anything is. No one cares unless I hate to go back to the whole problem solving thing, but it really. Either you have a glaring problem like using Barracuda for your content filter, Mister.
So you're calling Brightwing Wind tomorrow morning?
Exactly.
It's the worst, though. Throw your products and your software away and just talk about solutions. Talk about solving business problems. There's so many people out there that still don't do that. They don't get it. They're out there just pitching a particular product and trying to shove a square through a round hole. It
Well,
doesn't work.
and that's the key at all of our events. I mean, and that's what we keep. Another thing we keep hammering on people about is that if you make it all about me, you're going to fail 99 times out of 100. If not 999 out of 1,000. If you make it more about what problem do you have that I can solve for you, that's where you'll find a job.
Think about
100%. I mean,
that's
selling 101. I'm a developer, but I'm also a business owner. And as a WordPress quote-unquote specialist, I learned the lesson quickly that the customer, the person I'm trying to sell to, they don't care that I know WordPress. They just want a solution. They want a website. They don't care how it's done. They don't care how it's managed. So when you pivot on that and you learn to focus on whatever solution they're trying to, the solution they're presenting to try to solve their problem, that's where you get the win.
I had a great phone call today. It was a support call, and they said, everyone's kind of upset. You need to make sure you get your engineers here and fix this because we got a problem. He goes, listen, the owners said the word SonicWall today. They shouldn't even know what that is, let alone means, let alone it's a problem.
Yeah, you don't want to talk tech because the eyes glaze over.
Absolutely.
And you're talking to the wrong person, and they don't care. They're not the decision maker with regards to the tech anyways.
Think about 100% uptime guy that came to the Detroit Net event.
For crying out loud.
I got a data center with Cola without 100% uptime. Like,
no, you don't.
Where is it? It's on 14 in Coolidge. He had where's
the guy that bought drinks for everybody?
I don't remember. Did he?
No.
Oh, no. You're thinking of Brad from Mojo Host, and God bless Brad from Mojo Host.
Brad's on the other end of that spectrum.
Yeah, Brad's awesome.
Yeah, Brad's extremely
Is he
realistic
coming to the
about
next
what
one?
he does.
Because I want some free drinks. I think that's,
well, Scott,
I like that approach.
Scott, that's how I met you, right? Through the Novi event.
Yes, sir.
And you wouldn't have come near me if my wife wasn't there, right? That was how...
Your wife was there?
I'm just kidding.
I know.
No, but the fact of the matter is...
Well, that was one of the things where she was there instead of Bob.
Yeah, I think we've already established the pattern that Scott,
it's three Bobs and one Bo.
Right.
But think about how the network works. You know what I mean? Like, you meet these guys, I meet, a couple of your boys, you know what I mean, that you could trust real well. And then, you build the network, right? You come into the circle. And
yeah, we've helped people get jobs, for no money, just, transitioning, being in the staffing business in a prior life, just for goodwill, just because it's going to help build the relationship and grow the network, and everyone wins, right?
Haas, I feel like we're abandoning you at the end of the table.
You have abandoned me.
You got anything you want to chime in here with?
No, I'll wait until the next.
We'll get the next. We'll get him in the next. We are due for a break. This is the IT and the D Show presented by DetroitNet.org.
By the way, why are we wearing bras on our heads?
Ceremonial.
Phone call? Something
Oh,
happened? Were we not live?
Yeah, you forgot to turn the mics on.
Oh, oops.
Oh, well, welcome back to the IT and the D Show, and we're live. Apparently, we've been talking for 5 minutes and didn't realize that we weren't live.
I guess Captain Soundboard doesn't know how to run the soundboard.
Thank you, Haas. That was awesome.
It's a Windows interface. It's not my fault.
Can we isolate what Haas just said and use that as the intro for the next 10 episodes?
Captain Soundboard.
Captain Soundboard. Hence, he shall be known
Oh,
as.
and nice. Yeah, I've got my wife texting me, hey, dead air, hello. Yeah, nice.
Well, thank you, Lori, for helping us out, because clearly we really have no idea what we're doing.
So this goes into episode 6. It's a trap. You just fell into one.
It's a trap.
Yeah, it's a trap. It's a Windows interface.
So if we could back the bus up. I don't know. I actually forgot totally what we were talking about.
No, we were diving into Haas's little fun adventure when he got deployed overseas to Singapore.
Deployed, that's a good one.
And found himself in a situation that he was not expecting.
Yeah, so I mean, as some of the attendees of the various Detroit Net events know, I arrived in a situation overseas, half a world away from home, and
literally,
I needed. I was in need of a new position, and the very first thing I did was reach out to my network from the various Detroit Net events that I had attended over the prior
what happened overseas?
3 or 4 years. some promises were made that weren't kept. And I mean,
the bait and switch, that never happened.
That's very true. I mean,
were you dealing with a sales guy?
Actually, HR, even worse.
Checks
even
in the
worse.
mail.
No, to that point, promises that were made that weren't kept, and the bait and switch, exactly.
Which makes it even worse because you're an entire hemisphere away.
And you really don't know what to do at that point. My network is half a world away. My network's in Detroit and in the United States.
Well, think about having
on the
to
other
find
side of the globe.
Having to think about finding a job in Detroit, let alone I got to find a job in Detroit in Singapore
and figure out how to get back to Detroit. So,
well, I mean, thank God for the internet, right? I mean, you had that network alive, and you were able to utilize that.
No, and I think that's an important point too, right? Because like Dave talks about what went wrong, and there were a few things that went wrong, and finally I reached a threshold where it was time to move forward. It was time to start seeing what else was out there.
Well, we could probably do a whole show on the bait and switch, because I mean, us being in the private sector employment,
I think every one of us
dealt with it on multiple occasions.
Yeah, yep. And so the very first thing I did was started calling my network, and Dave was one of the first people I called, and he can attest to that. Just to say, hey, you're a valued contact. You're somebody I trust. You're somebody whose recommendations I would take, and I need some help.
Well, there's few people on the planet that you would stick your neck out for.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, me and Dave always talk. There's you probably have maybe a dozen people in your life that you would actually stick your neck out.
It's the bachelor party hypothesis.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what we always talk about when it comes to your
no
network.
questions asked. I will be there for you.
Well, no, you've got so and it's the only time we ever allow the discussion of anything pyramid related in any of our events or any chat that we have. You've got that base of your pyramid that is the few hundred people that you run into randomly at bars, that you see every now and then at work, or you see every now and then at an event. And you know what? You're casual, you're cordial, you know each other's names, and it's like a hey, how are you kind of thing. And then a step above that, you've got the people you'd invite to your wedding. People you've got a close enough relationship to, or that you're guilt tripped into. The distant cousin you only see at family functions, that kind of stuff.
The guy that blew up your lawn,
right? A step above that, you've got the people that you would invite to your bachelor / bachelorette party, where there's a sort of shared inherent trust. You already have some secrets shared, and you can rely on, depend on each other. And then a step above that, it's the hey, who can I call at 3 a.m. when I need bail? And that's that's kind of how people need to tier their networks and understand the hierarchy of how that stuff works.
Well, think about one of my favorite stories is the Matt Kahn story, right? I am good friends with his sister. I never met the guy. She's like, hey, my brother wants to move back to Detroit. I have a drink with him at Muldoon's. Being a sales guy, I could smell my own. And me and him laughed all night. And I said, I will definitely stick my neck out for you. So if he knows he messes up, it's all coming back because I'm good friends with his sister, right? So I put him in front of.
So you have a sister,
exactly. So I put him in front of a recruiter, and he's
actually too good.
He's doing very well. But to the fact of the matter is, like as you were saying, the way you got back to Detroit was you got a group of people here that know, trust, like you, that don't mind putting their neck out for you.
And I think the big point there is you need to have people like that, right? If you treat everybody like the people that you invite to your wedding or the people that you meet casually,
doing the keg stands with,
and you expect from them the putting their neck out, going out on a limb for you, vouching for you, it's not going to work, and you're not going to get that back. And it goes to the importance of that relationship building.
Well, and that's one of the things that we keep. Yet another thing that we keep hammering on people about is that you are to some degree judged by those that you are connected to. It's all about the network and the relationships and that kind of stuff. And you know what? I mean, it is. Not everybody loves me, and I'm totally okay with that. And it is what it is. There are people out there that hate me that might think less.
People that get slapped at events.
Yeah, that might be
people that know you that hate you.
Well, it's funny. Where I learned that was when I first started DJing at the Post in Grosse Pointe. I was 23, 24,
yeah.
And girls would come up and go, "I hate this song. Play something good." And I would get all bent out of shape, right? And then
you would actually take offense.
I would take it personally. Like, no, I love this song. What's wrong with you? But then I finally figured out, like, hey, 90% of the people are going to love me here. 10% are going to downright loathe me, and I got to come to grips with it. Otherwise, I'm going to be in hell.
So, when you were, like, kind of rallying the troops and motivating the forces, literally, you found a job in Detroit while you were in Singapore.
True, 100% correct, and that was quite a few phone calls, quite a few emails.
Still one of I think that's still one of the greatest Detroit Net success stories that we've ever had.
And it worked. It definitely worked, and it worked because I had the network. It worked because I had the relationships.
You didn't miss a meeting for us.
Yeah, you didn't actually start networking when you realized you needed something.
Well, exactly.
Right.
I had laid the groundwork the right way.
Even though we didn't get the promised photos of Detroit Net T-shirts in various Asian ports
Vietnam
of call.
photos on the Detroit Net page.
You dropped the ball on that?
There's Detroit Net T-shirts floating around Singapore somewhere, right?
No pictures.
Can we talk about where?
You didn't give me a supply of T-shirts to hand out.
We just wanted you in the T-shirt in various ports of call.
And I gave you pictures of me in the T-shirt in Vietnam.
That doesn't count.
That's only one country.
That does not count.
You were there for 6 months.
We don't want you in the picture.
Who do you want in the shirt?
Anyway.
Oh, yeah, as we get back to our wives are listening.
You stay classy, San Diego.
But that's the whole point, though. That's the whole point, though, Jeff. You came to the meetings or our events religiously. You didn't ask.
Well,
because
you didn't need to. And
that's one of the problems.
The
that's
whole
a problem
time
with
I had a job, and I wasn't. And I think a lot of people.
Well,
have
and
this
you were part of the
misconception.
shtick for the longest time. We did.
You mean I'm not part of the shtick anymore?
No, Jeff had his own.
We kept making name badges for him. Is that what you're
Jeff,
talking about?
We had he had his own badge.
He's in charge of beer.
His own titles. His titles ranged from "Can I buy you a beer?" to Decepticon Spy.
Yeah.
Ask me about my extensive Barry Manilow collection. We had.
Well, you think about we're talking about
other white meat.
Yeah.
With the theme being it's a trap, think about the other networking events that we've gone through the years, right? The trap being spending $20 at the door, but my worst one is the ask, right? Could you imagine, Jeff, if you came up to every one of our events and like, Jeff, I'm asking, I need this. People would not.
It's the biggest turnoff in the world.
Absolutely.
And it's just completely unacceptable. So you need to get to know people. You need to establish a rapport. And I think that's the biggest thing. And that's why I continue to attend your events. I've met a lot of good people over the years. I've bolstered my LinkedIn connections quite a bit.
What are you up to now?
8, 10.
Oh, you're a loser.
I think. Yeah, I haven't broken 4 digits yet.
Guys, it feels good to help people. It feels good if you can reach out and help someone find a job through a connection you have or a connection of a connection. It feels good.
It really does.
When you're out of work, it's the worst feeling in the world. And when someone can help you get a job, and come home and say, I got that job. It's the best feeling in the world.
And one of the stories that Bob and I tell all the time is, the second Pink Slip party we did was over at Commune in Royal Oak underneath Bastogne. And the next event was over at the back room of the Blackfin. Right. And, at about 4:30, Bob and I were hanging out, having a beer. Guy walked in, a little bit early, as, people do. And, I started going into my usual, hey,
what do you do? Who are you?
Yeah, what do we need? What can you, who can we hook you up with kind of shtick? And he said, no. I was at your Pink Slip party last month. And we were like, oh, great.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
What'd you think? What'd you think of it? And he said, well, let me tell you what I thought of it. He said, I'm actually stopping by here on the way, back from the recruiter's office where I just signed a job offer. I've been out of work for 8 months. I'm going to be making more money than I've ever made before in my life. You just saved my house. You probably saved my marriage. I just wanted to stop by and shake your hand and buy you a beer and say thanks. That's, and I know it sounds lame and contrived and all that kind of stuff,
fantastic.
But it's cool as hell, man. And that's really it's stuff like that
keeps us going.
That makes editing all the F-bombs out of a podcast. Absolutely worth it.
When we keep having conversations when they say that
all
we're
the
doing
Hillarys.
When we're doing it wrong.
Yeah, all the Hillary bombs. Yeah,
all the Hillary bombs. Yeah, nice man. When everyone keeps telling us we're doing it wrong, stories like that tell us we're doing it right.
Right. Well, because I mean, you know, and
Simple
that's,
as that, really.
Well,
I mean,
and
that's your
we've-
answer.
Yeah, I mean, we've avoided selling out. We've avoided, you know, going to the dark side, as it were. And it's because of, you know, it's the connections that keep us real. I mean, you know, when
Even though I can feel the anger flow through you. But.
Oh yeah, okay. Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
Stephanie just said, "Did Haas just say stay classy?" He does not know us.
Yeah. No, but I mean, seriously.
This
I mean,
show's BS.
You know,
So
the
true.
conversations I had with Haas when, you know, he was calling me at, you know, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which Singapore time was 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, and just going through all those event sessions with him. I mean, it was, you know, one of those things where, you know, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but it's like I almost like felt like an obligation, you know, to
You
make
were my therapist.
Yeah,
for
I
a
mean,
while,
you know, to
legitimately.
help make sure that he got what he needed from our group.
Yeah, Bob's
That's right, I'll take the rapist for $500.
Yeah, Bob's reached out to me a number of times. You know, hey, I've got someone who's looking for work. Can you help
Absolutely.
out? And boom, I immediately go out to my network. I take it under my responsibility to see what I can do, put my best foot forward, and really work at it. Not just like
Names that rhyme with Schwera.
Well, I mean, the networking part is key, right? I mean, if you've got what were we joking about earlier when you got 20,000 LinkedIn connections, and you know, if someone like Bob's comes to you and says, "Hey, I need a .NET developer," you know, if you got 20,000, you know, you're not going to be able to weed through those 20,000 network connections. You know,
Hi, here's Joe Louis Arena full of the people that I say I know.
exactly,
Yeah.
You know, you've got a handpicked set of people that you are at the top of that list that you would probably know.
Absolutely.
You know, you got to keep your connections.
Well, and it is. I mean, it is that whole tiering system. I mean, and that's the part that so many people fall down on and fail is they don't understand. It's not where somebody is in that path of criticality to you. It's where you are in that path of criticality to them. You know, and what we keep telling people at, you know, the Shifting Gears events and that kind of stuff is, you know what, if I get walked out of my job tomorrow, suddenly every recruiter that I know is in that top tier of critical connections, must know, must chat, must have, you know, immediate contact with. That doesn't mean that I'm on that same playing field with them.
Well, one of the biggest mistakes I always see, too, is people always preach that you have to remain relevant to your network, right? You have to always be out there. So they go to these $20 Facebook Your Way to Success classes, and now their Facebook status every day is like, you know, I ate spaghetti for lunch. What's your favorite lunch? And then everybody says, I like pizza. I like hot dogs. And they think like, hey, I got
My favorite cookie is...
Right, what's your favorite cookie? So I got 32 responses, so that means I'm relevant to my network. Well, it really
My
means...
clout score went up.
Yay! But, you know...
What does that mean, actually?
But
Nothing.
Bob, are you making fun of my bench pressing at Lifetime
Absolutely.
Fitness? You're killing me.
How much?
All right, let's let me get, you know,
doesn't
if
count
you
unless
go
you
to the
put-
gym
I didn't
and
say
you
anything
don't
about
post
your
about
pound
going to the
wiener
gym, you
didn't
still
happen.
get the same net effect.
Yeah, right.
Look at me, guys. I'm buff now.
It's kind of like joining Google Plus.
Exactly.
The hot tub full of guys of the internet.
No,
Yeah,
but
that's
I
great.
never understood. Like people
God.
post inspirational quotes on Facebook and LinkedIn. It's like, what are you like? I get. What I'm just going to
Don't you work for a living? For
I'm
crying out
gonna
loud?
eat Cheetos
What
and
do
ice.
these- What do these
Okay,
people
but-
do all day?
I don't know.
But a daily quote like they're the Dalai Lama, it's give it a break. You know,
Gunga
stop.
Lagunga. But the, you
Buy
know,
a Franklin Planner. They
I
give them
never-
out for free.
Right.
I never understood though. You're sitting on the couch eating Cheetos, then you read an inspirational quote from one of your network and like, oh my god, I have to. I'm gonna.
That just made my day. I'm going to go out and sell.
I'm gonna sell something now.
Feeling strong now.
Whee! You know, it's the dumbest thing I've ever. Like, what was the net? What do you possibly think the net effect is of quoting Confucius or the Dalai Lama is going to do to someone's day? You know, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, I love that quote."
No, but I think that's.
I retweeted you because it's cool to retweet.
Yeah,
that's the doing it wrong, right, Bob? Like,
Absolutely.
the doing
It is.
it right is showing up at an event and having a conversation with somebody about what's going on. What's been going on in your life? What's happening in
being relevant is more than just seeing your name and branding
Absolutely.
your name.
The
It's
internet is
actually
important, right?
bringing
It has
value.
a place, but being out there and meeting with people and getting out to events and getting out to see customers. Being
Or
in front of people is
just-
the
Well,
most
I mean,
important thing.
we've talked about that
hanging
before.
out.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, being
You know,
yourself.
Just being there is half the game. I mean,
that's the part that kills me is, you know what, there are people that and I'm, you know, this always like freaks people out. We had this conversation a couple weeks ago. I have multiple Facebook profiles. I have one that is open and anybody can find, and it's. Dude, whatever.
We're gonna get back into this.
Let me make my point and shut up.
He's just trying to get more Facebook followers.
No, there's one that's open.
He likes his own posts. That's what it is.
Wait, go ahead.
How many profiles do you have? How many Facebook profiles do you have?
Dave, continue, Dave.
The sound you're about to hear is me pimp slapping an entire room full of people.
Just don't hit Superman behind you.
Oh no, I might use Superman to pimp slap all of you. No, so I mean, but it's there's the open one that I don't care who attaches to that, and there's like 4,600 quote unquote friends on that account. If I could pick 100 of them out of a lineup, with a gun to my head, I'd be lucky. My other account that you guys are all hooked up, that you guys are hooked onto, it's those are the people I know, and there's like not even 300 on that account. That's the point. Those are the people that I know, that I talk to on a regular basis, people that I truly consider myself connected to. I'm gonna have Hillary just email me the WAV file from last week. I'll just start from there.
That's fine.
No, but I mean it's it's true. People that have, and I do. I mean you see it. We see it. People have 700, 800, 1,000, 2,000 friends. No, you don't.
You do not.
No, you really don't.
The law of diminishing returns, caps out at like 100, 150 at most.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Even with the 300 that are on my lockdown account, there's maybe 20 I interact with on a regular basis.
How many make it to your bachelor party?
You would make it to my and I'm but see, and just for the record, because she's listening, there will never be another bachelor party because there will be another wedding.
If we're going to dive into the social media thing, I mean, like Facebook, for example, like high school reunions. Like there are people that I would never connect with in a million years, but I went to high school with them. But they wanted to connect with me because that's the only spot where they're organizing their Facebook.
I didn't like you 20 years ago. Why do I need to be?
Dave, on the contrary, I'll be honest.
But it's a temporary thing. Right?
I have a half a dozen friends like I never spoke to or through in high school that are actually very cool people today. And I'm actually friends with, and I'm kind of happy I did that.
Right.
There's a flip side to it.
There is, and that's my point. It's like you friend these people 20 years later. For a particular event, and you in your mind you're like, okay, this is going to be temporary. But you're like, you start looking at their photos, Facebook. Oh my gosh, I have a lot in common with this person. 20 years later, it's like boom,
They go on boats, I go on boats. Let's be friends.
I'm a Facebook voyeur. I am. I like to look at people's pictures. I do.
Well, that is the general rule of thumb.
Scott, we all are.
As soon as the channels on TV,
as soon as you accept a friend request from someone, we all know the first thing that everyone does is photos of their photos.
Yep.
But that's the biggest problem. I just friend from high school. She moved to D.C., so every time she comes, it's a big deal, right? And everybody's got to get together from high school, right?
Exactly.
And we all reminisce, but you can't tell them anything. It's like I went to, I saw on Facebook. Well, I read about that. So it's like
that was Magic Mike's whole thing when we were sitting at. Whatever bar we were at when we got together the last time.
You can't tell anybody anything anymore.
There's no such thing as sitting around having a bar conversation anymore. Because hey, did you hear that? Yeah. Hey, we got this. We
heard about the time.
We got the training wheels off. Same as I read that yesterday. Saw photos. Thanks.
Yeah, I was just at a family reunion this past weekend, and the conversations were all Trump
in Delaware.
No, not Delaware. No, just
in Canuckistan.
Oh, yeah, in Canadistan.
Canada.
Yeah. No, I mean the conversations was Trump by Facebook almost every time. My cousin was like, we were out east visiting. Yep, no, I saw your daughter's post on Facebook. So the conversation, it's like it ends the conversation.
Or it could be a conversation starter, right? So you get a little snippet of something, and now you can talk about it and expand on that conversation.
Yeah, here's all the stuff that I didn't post on Facebook. Yeah,
the untold story.
You saw those clean pictures of Muscovy Bay? Look at these.
It's just between me and the NSA.
Yeah, exactly. Symbolico, surrender your phone.
But to bring it back to center, right? To Scott's point, you're more than the sum of your Facebook profile or your LinkedIn profile, right?
Somebody write that down.
You should be able
to
have a conversation that goes beyond, okay, this is my weekend, 4th of July weekend on Facebook.
How did that go again? You're more than the sum of your
Facebook profile.
Yeah, tweet that.
It's profound.
That's compelling.
It's prophetic.
Hashtag.
It's really not that compelling.
Pound.
No, but if you look at like my face, like there's a thing that came around like somebody said something to my wife like, "Oh, how could Bob be with you? He's always out. Look at his Facebook." And it's like, really? Just because like when every time in a social situation we check it. That's why I'm like, guys, don't check me in. Don't, I'm not out, because everybody is they think that's what I'm doing 24/7, because that's the image you're portraying.
You're a pretty social guy, Bob.
But aren't you?
Pretty much.
Yeah, so, we're connected on Facebook and Foursquare. I get every check into Duffy's, every check into Muldoon's, every check into
Never heard of it.
You're not only the mayor, but you're the governor.
Bars.
Yeah, you're the president of Muldoon's.
Dave's the mayor of my house.
I am. I'm so proud. I'm the mayor of Bob's house. I'm so proud of that.
No, specifically the basement.
The beer garden.
The Waltonspiel beer garden. I am the Duke.
That's on Yelp too.
Yes, I added it just so I could check into it there too.
Good. Let's not talk about Yelp today. Can we?
Well, no, actually,
where's the Crickets app?
Well, no, because Annette wants to come in and yak with us at
That's
some
fine.
point.
We can let her.
No, but I mean, and actually, I mean, that is a good point. I mean, you are more than just what you are on paper, or the screen, whether it's your LinkedIn profile, your Facebook, your friends list and all that kind of stuff.
But you need to be able to talk to that too. And you need to be able to vocalize it in a public setting, face to face, having
Could you
a conversation
imagine?
with somebody.
You can imagine the LinkedIn conversation you have putting on your Facebook.
I'm sorry, Bob. I think the beginning of your sentence interrupted the middle of Jeff's sentence.
No,
so let's.
We're talking. We're talking.
No, I mean, we school Jeff. I mean, let him talk.
No, legitimately. So you should be able to get up in front of a recruiter at a Detroit Net event and speak to your resume that's posted on your LinkedIn profile. You should be able to expand on that, and it should be more than what's encompassed there, right?
And that goes back to being transparent and not trying to BS your way through a conversation.
Be genuine. Say what it is that you did, and
be yourself.
Be proud of it. Be proud of what you did,
right.
And you don't want to spew everything on your LinkedIn profile. Keep it short, keep it sweet, and be able to expand on that and the experiences that you had in that role when you were a .NET developer or when you were overseas in Singapore, talking Dave's ear off and needing therapy, or whatever it might have been. Be able to deliver those thoughts about those experiences. And,
how do I not have any me so horny sound drops for this episode? I feel like I've let everybody down. I'm sorry.
Really?
I just want to throw that out.
Really?
Yeah.
No, but speaking of that, it's amazing how much job search and networking and
trying to make a point.
all come hand in hand, right? And if you look at, can you imagine meeting a girl at a bar, Jeff, and she's like, "Well, tell me about yourself." And you're like, "Well, when I was 13, I went to band camp, and then when I was 14, and you go on for 45 minutes about the history of your life." And imagine a recruiter having to listen to your job history. And
there was this one time at band camp,
right? And then I got a job doing this, and so you have to keep it as a conversation. You can't just rattle off.
You've got to be yourself. Bottom line, if you talk to robotic and you're memorizing things, you have to be yourself. It's funny. You guys all have daughters. Well, sorry, Jeff. But bottom line is, my daughter.
Jeff just dates other people's daughters. That's
One of my daughter's first day. All right. First day at school, new city. She's real nervous. She's like, "What do I do?" Just go in and be yourself. Smile. Yep. Most disarming thing you do to somebody is smile.
Yep.
Smile and just say your name and this is what I do, and then let the conversation just roll from there.
I like the Wings Club.
Stephanie has a good question. She's, what's a good opening line to ask a recruiter? How do you start the conversation? Cold.
What are you looking for right now? And that just gets back to that whole: what is your pain point and what is your problem that I can solve for you?
Somebody, or
no, you're
somebody asking
you're
a recruiter.
You're a job seeker. You're out of work. You found yourself talking to a recruiter.
This is my name. Smile. This is what I do. I'm interested in employment. I'm looking in these areas, and just start the conversation.
I'll tell you what. We're actually at a good stop point. Let's dive back into that right on the flip side of the break. And I swear to God, I'll remember to push the button right this time.
No more dead air.
No more dead air. Bob, do your thing.
IT and the D, Raw Radio X.
You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada.
Finding inspiration, I knew you'd find me crying.
we are back with the just a little bit. IT and the D show here, the Raw Industrial Station's Raw Radio X, episode 6. It's a trap.
Details. Anyways, moving
Probably a
on.
utility company.
I saw a ghost.
I saw a ghost. It's possible. This building's been around for a while. It is possible somebody died here.
I'm serious, and I saw boots.
Oh, well, we actually have a phone call coming in to kick things off, and it does not appear to be Tad again. So let's see how it goes. Hi, who do we have?
Hi, it's Ray Brown.
Who is this?
Ray Brown.
What's going on? What can we do for you?
It's IT and the D, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is. Welcome.
Is this Ray Braun? Ray Braun?
That's right.
Hey, Ray. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's happening, Ray?
How are you, man?
Sound like such a stranger. That's okay. I kind of caught everything out. Yeah, it was listening, obviously. You make this the second phone call that you probably had today, which is a little bit unusual.
That's all right. We're glad it's you.
If anything else, I wanted to share a little bit about the job search going awry early on before I got into Detroit Net and see if that made any sense to what you were talking about.
Do your thing. What do you got?
Yeah, do you have a story for us?
Oh, yeah. You know, when I got 2008, late 2008 was the time that I got laid off from Chrysler along with how many other people. And it was not even in IT at that. I was looking to transition out of a level 1 engineering shadow IT because engineering, IT, and the help desk never talked to each other. We're at odds. And I went to New Horizons and started training, right, in the TRA program. They supported me. But somewhere down the line, I don't even remember how, I learned about the Detroit Net and decided to come up to my first event there. One thing I noticed that was really different right away is that instead of sitting at home and throwing out resumes all over the net like I was, working like half a day there and half a day at school, things were clicking there. Even though it didn't have instant results, it eventually led to jobs, and that's what I really enjoyed about it.
The key there was you actually had to work for it.
Well, and not only that, Ray, you're probably one of our repeat success stories that we've had from our events.
Multiple success stories.
You picked up several different jobs, right?
Yeah, and part of the deal, since I was even in there at that point at transition, the first thing I took was a day in internship for almost $10 an hour. It was about it. It progressed. I just kept the contacts at Detroit Net and just kept on going and going, and one job actually led to another, all through the context of Detroit Net. And of course, now I'm in IT infrastructure and working my butt off. So,
Ray, you've moved on to data center migrations and all kinds of fun, happy hoo-ha, right?
Yeah, you're the case example of how to do it correctly, right?
Absolutely.
You're there. You don't have that entitlement mentality.
Well, and
coming up, you're showing up every month.
Well, and not to put you on blast here or anything, and not that it's a negative thing, but you're one of our older attendees.
Right.
So we get a lot of questions about I'm over 50. Can I still find a job in IT? And honestly, you're the person that I always throw them back at and say, look, talk to Ray. Ray does it right. Ray has no problems finding jobs with our events.
Ray, yep. I met you at the Post in Novi, and you did it right. You walked up to me, you introduced yourself. My name's Ray. Smiled. This is what I'm looking for. I'm out of work, and it just kind of organically grew like that. So you did a good job, and I think people that are listening kind of follow.
Yeah, and that's all it does take. A lot of things, even at the Post when we had the pay set parties, it's a little bit more like a job fair. But, it still worked. It was still just an interaction. You don't start throwing paper necessarily all over the place. It's better to do a business card, see if both sides think that it's worth pursuing, and then do it the next day through emails and whatever. And then keep rolling from that point.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for calling in, Ray. And we were, yakking in the break yet again. But it's true. Ray really is one of the repeat success stories that we've had from our events and everything that we've got going on. That's kind of part of the cool thing that goes on with what we do. It's...
If we could really personify Detroit Net and everything that you should be doing, it really is Ray. Honestly.
Can we make Ray a mascot?
I agree. Joking aside, what he just said in the call in, I mean, that's what you don't have to have that entitlement mentality. You have to be persistent. You have to show up. You have to network. And you're not going to ask the very first time you show up.
Well, and it's networking 101. I mean, we've said a million times that you're going to get more out of a 1 or 2 minute conversation with someone on the other side of the table than you ever will blasting out resumes or combing a resume database or anything like that. It just is what it is.
Ray did it right. He met people at the event. He sent emails. He followed up with phone calls. He did everything. He's, he hit the trifecta, really. And I remember him. I just pulled him up on my LinkedIn. So here's a picture of Ray, everyone. You know what Ray looks like.
This isn't TV
stuff. We do,
Ray.
Sorry. There's no webcam here.
The microphone, I'm sorry.
Ray, you're beautiful.
We love you, Ray.
And your picture was just shown to a microphone, just for the record.
Right.
Oh, but it is funny you bring up, the conversation. Like having a quick conversation is better than all those emails you can blast out. It's going back to even like I remember going through. Not to do a bad segue, but going through sales training where 2 days of sales training, you'd have a 5-minute conversation with somebody and say, God, I learned just as much doing this 5-minute kind of wrap up than I did getting lectured at for 2 whole days. And it kind of rings true with the whole networking thing too, right? You're going to get more having a 2-minute conversation with somebody just talking about what's going on than you will reading 100 job posts, blasting out 200 resumes, It's getting out there, talking.
Case in point, get in front of people as much as you can.
Absolutely.
You've got to use the internet and all the social media tools you have, but you got to get.
It's a starting touch point. That's all it is.
Absolutely.
What are the unspoken rules? I mean, first in person, then the phone call, then the email, then nowadays, then it's the social media.
And have you guys ever received a thank you card in the mail? I mean, that's kind of old-fashioned.
An actual thank you.
It stands. It sets you apart.
It does. I mean, I've actually told people, that's what?
Bob doesn't like it.
Who doesn't get excited to get actual physical mail? It's not a bill.
That's not junk.
I mean, you joke about it, but I've actually heard about that. I mean, in the sales process, when you're doing prospecting and trying to find new sales leads, when you actually give that follow-up correspondence via an actual piece of paper in an envelope, it sets you apart. It really does.
If Bob was one of my prospects, I would probably send him
a love letter.
No, I'd send him a case of beer with a note attached to it. I love you.
The Beer of the Month Club.
I don't want to. The card is like somebody else's words. Going, that's exactly what I was thinking.
What if you?
Yeah, but it could be handwritten. It could be a handwritten thank you card. Thanks for taking the time to have a conversation.
Right, exactly.
I'm not. Yeah.
Well, Bob. We all know Bob.
Yeah, Bo, call in. When's the last time Bob got you a card?
No, I mean, it's true. I mean, we're getting feedback. I mean, it takes time. It shows that you actually are going the extra mile.
That you're set yourself apart, right? I mean,
it does. It's a personal touch, and
it's a lot more personal than an email or a LinkedIn post or a Facebook post too.
The worst thing you can do is send the generic. I'd like to add you to my connections on LinkedIn
without even updating the one line that's on that.
Exactly.
I'd like to add you to my
not even
LinkedIn
giving you the salutation. Right. Exactly. I mean, I'll delete that without even looking at it twice.
I mean, face it. Recruiters have 300 resumes per job sitting on their desk. They're not going to sift through 300 resumes. They're going to look for the top 10.
First of all, they're being scanned.
Right. They're scanned. They're going through referrals and people that know somebody through the network, right? But also, so you get to that level where, okay, maybe there's 10 resumes they've got to go through. You need to set yourself aside from the rest somehow. Sing, Telegram.
Well, I mean, and here's the 3 people I know. That's who I'm going to call.
Right.
Well, and that's it's a cliche for a reason, but we keep harping on it. Is that it's not what you know, it's who you know. Your network gets you past. You don't have that bullet point on your resume. Your network gets you past. I don't have that specific skill set, but I can learn it really quickly.
Andrea Kress likes cards. I'm in the lonesome. I'm like the only guy that's like no cards. Everybody else is giving me.
No, we're all married. Well, other than Jeff, we're all married. No, none of us has bought a card, other than when it was obligatory.
Right.
Hallmark, you are a gold mine.
No, from my last.
Well, I mean,
birth?
it's the whole the Office Michael Scott fruit basket thing. I mean, the sales tactic. I mean, giving that fruit basket, and I mean, it goes back to the whole.
And taking it back was even more positive. That was great.
What am I supposed to do with this?
Your wife just texted me to let me know.
When was
that you're just not a card person.
I am not a card person.
Bob sent a text for his anniversary.
I'm
Happy
okay with
anniversary,
that.
honey.
Say it was shoebox.
I'm so okay with that.
I'm sorry. Honestly, my favorite part about Bob, and this is within the last month, is Bob.
Bo?
No, well, yeah, there's that. yeah. The best part of Bob is 2/3 of Bob. Bo. Bob posted this really flowery, nice, happy anniversary, babe, love you, best thing of my life, and I'm like, dude. Your wife's not even on Facebook.
I know. Right? And happy anniversary, babe.
Yeah, so he's like, yeah, I know. I post that, and then I show it to her on my phone, and I win points. That's what I do.
That is
in lieu of a card.
That's the Bob card.
It saves them
what that is.
$4.50. That's what it does.
I have married friends that post on each other's walls. It's like, can't you just call each other?
Or can't you look across the couch?
Right.
Yeah, roll over. Love you.
I'm guilty. For I know.
So this show is definitely not about romantic relationships. We're talking business relationships.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome
Don't
to
take our advice.
Yeah, which is why it stuns me that we had flagged as a dating and personals website. Because if there are like 5 guys you should never take dating advice from, hi,
They're
Jeff,
sitting in this room.
Scott, Jeff, Bob, Dave.
well, welcome to the 4th segment of IT and the D.
It's a
And
train
somehow
wreck.
4 found love.
Yeah, and yet Jeff's still all by his lonesome.
Aww. And his personal cell phone number is?
It's probably
the single guy.
It's probably the pink pants.
Ladies, if you're listening, Jeff Haas's phone number is. It's Dylan.
very
Dave
attractive.
Phillips is my secretary at gmail.com.
And yet again, I get singled out for what is this? The 5th time in the show. So.
Yeah, exactly. He's single, yeah.
Very attractive white male wearing a beautiful button.
We're not.
This
white
is
shirt.
completely gone sideways on
Says
me.
the guy in the muscle T-shirt.
He did have a sport coat on when he walked into 3rd Street.
It was
Thank
900
you.
degrees.
I
Talking
swear.
about making mistakes.
We
one
really
might
need
have
to
been
bring this-
showing up on the show this evening.
We can't even see the truck to get it back on track at this point.
Wow, let's see. Good segue to get us back on track. Let's see. Dating, relationships, chaos.
Barracuda,
All of
blocked,
that. All of that brings me back to Haas.
And being blocked by a firewall.
Haas has got a few firewalls up over the years. So I mean, and Jeff, we really haven't engaged you too much in this. I mean, what, if anything, do you want to throw out there about just the whole, networking concept in general and the mistakes that you've seen? Because, I mean, I know you've seen mistakes made at our events because we've yacked about them and laughed about them.
And I think that's a big thing, right? Like in terms of comparing notes and looking at the overbearing people, or I personally I feel bad for the people who are just afraid to introduce themselves, right? I mean,
The wallflowers, they exist.
I mean, you should be proud of who you are. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of what you're looking for, and don't be afraid to introduce yourself and just meet somebody. I think that's probably the biggest key to getting out and getting involved in your networking events.
I think
right?
the next
Like,
business plan we're going to write is bottling up the anxiety at our events. I think it would be a killer idea.
I mean, that's why we have our events at bars.
Yeah,
I mean, the liquid courage part of it is huge. I mean, the IT person is, joking aside, nocturnal, typically geek, typically a wallflower, typically someone who's
and
not too
known
social.
to be the most outgoing character in the room.
Yeah, not too
right?
outgoing.
And,
they need that little shove.
I think on a personal anecdote, the thing
Maybe
that
we do need to make tequila shots mandatory upon entry. Maybe that would help things.
But the thing I constantly find, you joke around about my ties at your events or my suits or whatever it might be, but people always come up to the
It's your
come up to
shtick.
me. They come up to me and they introduce themselves to me, and I think it's largely because they think I'm a recruiter just based on the way I'm dressed, but I'm not. I'm not, and I'm always willing to help introduce them to a recruiter, and
because I mean, at this point, just about everybody in the room,
the vast majority
yeah.
of them, and if I'm the one that they're comfortable approaching, then so be it, and I'm not afraid to go take them over and say, here's a person from Aero Strategies, or here's a person from X, Y, or Z recruiting company, and they're looking for people, whatever it might be.
Well,
So-
and it is. I mean, it's something I actually realized a while ago about myself, and I wrote a blog entry about it called the Jersey Initiative. I do. I wear a lot of Red Wings jerseys or other hockey jerseys.
No,
I know it's
true.
It's stunning. I know you've never seen me in one ever in your life.
And how many of you actually washed?
One does not wash jerseys that are autographed and signed. It just doesn't happen.
Just checking.
How does one smell after not washing said jerseys?
It depends on how many locker rooms one has been through and Stanley Cup celebrations one has been through with those jerseys. Because some of them stand up on their own at this point.
Back on the tracks.
No, but I mean it's because it's a talking point, and I did. I honestly I was doing it subconsciously, but I sat down and started taking a look back. When I go to an event where I know I'm not going to know anybody, or I know I'm going to be like the oddball out, it's like by default I throw on a Wings jersey or I throw on a jersey of some sort.
You're saying you own it.
Well, because it's a talking point. It gives somebody it gives someone an easy approach to me.
Right.
Because, I can't tell you how many times somebody walks up and goes, hey, how do you think the Wings are going to do in this year? Or, hey, what do you think about the trade they just made? Or, they just picked up Samuelson or whoever else they've just grabbed.
It's really cool when you say you're not watching hockey this season, though, too.
I did not watch a single damn game until Game 7 of the Sharks series.
So what you're saying is when you show up at an event, don't show up in khakis and a polo shirt because you're going to be conformist?
Yeah, we don't like those. No, but I mean, but if that's who you are, then be who you are.
The events that me and Dave go, he's a hockey jersey guy. I was in the wintertime, I was leather jacket guy because for some reason I was wearing the same.
Yeah, but Dave's leather jacket guy. He's Neo.
No, he's trench coat.
He's leather trench coat
leather
guy.
trench coat. Yeah, he's
like
Neo.
Kevin Smith. He's like at the shorts and the leather trench coat and the.
Stephanie knows all about that leather trench coat.
Wait, shorts and a leather trench coat? Yeah, your wife knows all about my leather trench coat.
You went
that
to
had
the
be
Lions
clean.
game in a leather trench coat and shorts. You did.
We could have an entire segment on Dave's fashion mistakes, so let's not do that.
Yeah, it's a trap.
It's a trap.
Yeah, let's remind everyone
the fashion don'ts. That's
This episode is called "It's a Trap."
Well, I think what's the worst person we saw come to a Detroit Net event? Right? What was it? Wasn't it a lady with the 10-gallon cowboy hat?
Well, yeah, we had the 10-gallon hat person. We had the Bluetooth guy. We had the mullet. We had the tie.
It was not just Bluetooth guy. It was Bluetooth hipster hat, hipster glasses guy.
Right.
We've had Bluetooth guy multiple times.
Yeah.
Guy with a white wife beater on with a hole right in the middle of the chest.
Yep.
When?
Beautiful.
There was the guy with the Colorado Avalanche leather jacket that showed up to a lot of our events. That was outstanding. There's a difference between it being a conversation starter and having everybody immediately hate you.
So right, be yourself, be comfortable, bring a friend if you need to, if you whatever it takes to get out there and meet people, and talk about what you're looking to do. Bottom line, if you're looking for a job, just be honest. Tell them what you're looking for. Say your name.
If you don't have experience, say, hey, I'm looking to crack into it. Like our carpet salesman that's looking to go computer software, video game.
Being a video game programmer, Tad.
And it's a logical shift.
So. You might want to go to school first and then go to the event.
No, if you wanted to be, a carpet salesman, Tad.
I got nothing.
Of course you don't. But I guess again it's worth mentioning because we have realized we're terrible about this. We do have an event again, Blackfin next Thursday, July 18th.
July 18th, 5 o'clock.
Back room 501. Show up. It's as casual as you want it to be, and maybe I guess that's a good way to wrap up the show is just talk about our event a little bit.
Sure.
We always get asked, what do I, we've kind of talked about the do's and don'ts and the kind of the train wrecks. We get asked, so do I wear a tie? Do I wear this?
No.
Do I wear that?
No. I mean, despite the phone call,
this room's only big enough for one tie. Thank you.
What about pink pants? Can I wear pink pants?
Only if you just came from the golf course.
Nice.
Oh,
no, but I mean,
have to go golfing next Thursday.
Well, let's do that then.
No,
I'll wear my orange pants.
Well, you can't swing a golf club.
That's right. Not for at least another week.
My advice to you is to start drinking heavily.
Listen to him. He's pre-med.
Nice. No, but I mean, what we always tell people is, so imagine you're at a bar because, our events always happen at bars.
At a bar.
And you hear somebody at the table next to you talking about your dream job. For the love of God, don't show up at one of our events wearing something that would preclude you from approaching somebody about your dream job. And we've had, and I mean, Scott, you've seen it. We've had the leather mini and fishnet show up. We've had, the tube top show up. We've had the
10-gallon hat,
the wife beater with the hole in it.
It's a great conversation starter. It's probably a conversation ender as well.
Well, it's a curiosity conversation starter. It's not the conversation you want to be having. That's the issue.
We have the Milton office directly right for you in the basement next to the coat room.
We need to move your desk back a little bit.
Promise to
fix the glitch and route your resume straight into the trash.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was told I could listen to my music at an appropriate volume. Nice.
So what else? Branding cards? Should they bring branding cards?
Absolutely. I mean,
leave your resume at home. Just show up, and if you're coming straight from work, just come as you are. I mean, you don't need to get dressed up. You don't need to get dressed down.
So
come as you are.
It don't need to be no masquerade. Come as you are, or don't come at all.
Really?
We're entirely
You know something? I always
trying to make a point here, and he always has to have a reference.
I was going to go Nirvana with that, but you went way off.
I totally lost
Nirvana was too easy.
No, but here's another thing. Davey always mentioned. Hey, when you come to events, come find one of us and tell us what you're looking for.
We'll point you in the right direction. That's our job.
But it's okay not to be looking for anything, right? Maybe you just want to hang out with people in the industry.
That's our biggest.
Couple friends. I mean, think about the friends that we've gained over the years. We weren't looking for anything. We didn't walk in going, "I have a goal. I have a preset."
Well, yeah, except for you were trying to sell something.
I would never. I haven't sold one thing yet since 2008.
For the people that don't have smartphones or iPhones or Microsoft phones, bring a pen. It's important. So if you want to take some information down, every event that I go to.
Well, and actually, that's a good point about cards. Is simple white works very, very well. Don't go with the glossy print because those are harder to write on.
Yeah, especially with the whole free Vista print thing.
Yeah.
Shy away from the whole graphic glossy print thing. Just
no
do
cats.
Don't do the stupid little watermark in the background. Whatever.
Don't put your picture on the card either, or else you'll walk away with black eyes and scars on your card.
Swastika on the forehead, nice. Yeah.
But bring a pen. Seriously, I see that every time I go to an event. Someone's like, "Do you have a pen?" And you're scurrying to 5 people to find a pen.
But Bobby, you bring up a good point. I mean, even if you're not looking for a job, still show up.
Well, and Absolutely. It shouldn't be about that. I mean, and that's another thing we keep harping on. Okay, great. The fact that 500 odd people have found jobs through our events, that's awesome and it's great and everything. But it's a happy little side effect of the main point of the group, which is networking.
Please, as soon as you get hired, please continue.
Don't stop coming.
Yeah, don't stop coming to our events.
I mean, for just from a personal standpoint, the friends that I've gotten, I know you're going to say, Bob's heart grew 3 times sizes, but the friends that I've gotten through the,
and that's the moment that happens every week where Bob's heart grew 3 sizes.
No, but the friends that I've gotten through this group, I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. I mean,
Bob's heart
jobs, whatever, deals, leads. To me, it's building the network and having people that you can rely on at a drop of a hat,
and the people that we know that we've helped find, that we've helped find jobs and have helped grow in their careers and
have a life debt to me. I'm just waiting to cash it in.
Well, the best line, Dave, that you said a while ago, several years ago, we're just working off bad karma from our 20s.
Oh, that's...
No, we're at the point now where we can go to Vegas for about 3 years. We're good.
I tell everybody, at this point...
do we have a pass?
Dude, I could go spray paint the Vatican with, the filthiest lyrics I want to do and be okay for about a year at this point.
But
St. Dave.
In closing, I think the right thing is you're doing it wrong if you stop coming after you get a job.
Thank you.
It's a huge fail.
That's what the networking purpose is. Come back and help other people find jobs.
Well,
and
because
grow
great,
the network.
You found your job now, but you're gonna need one again at some point in time, and you're not gonna want to be a cold call when that time rolls around.
Amen.
Right?
And maybe you can help somebody along the way, right? And that's what it's all about. If you miss one, here's the big key, because I'm bad at this as well. If you miss one, just go to the next one. It's okay.
Yep.
Because you missed one doesn't mean, I missed it. I can't go. I can't show my face.
It's
again.
like my dad.
Just go.
It's like my dad used to always tell me: treat your jobs like women. Don't quit the old one until you find a new one. I'm just kidding. On that note, that's a
nice. Well, hey, before we jump out, I feel bad. So, Scott, I feel like we ought to let you shout out a plug or something for PLA. How do people find you?
Oh, they find me. First, I'll give my number. No, just kidding. So, I'm the Director of Business Development for Project Leadership Associates, otherwise known as PLA. We are in Southfield, out of the town center, directly across from Microsoft. We're a system integrator, a software development shop, a business intelligence shop. We focus on the Microsoft stack. We've got resources on the street here, about 260 employees globally. And if you have any needs for Microsoft solutions, please give me a ring.
Okay.
Very cool.
And we'll put that out on DetroitNet.org as well,
Yeah,
with a summary and recap. This was the IT and the D Show, episode 6. It's a trap. Appreciate our special guest, Scott Sabelico, Jeff Haas. See you guys next week.
Come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
That's all, folks.
Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done?